Hey, welcome into this edition of the GASOcast. This is our playoff MEGAGASOcast, Season 4, Episode 19. We are going to be here with you for a minute, so buckle up and let's get it started. Before we jump into players, let's talk about our sponsor real quick. This episode is sponsored by Clutch Shots, the first ever smart highlight creator. Whether you're an athlete, proud parent, coach, or organization, Clutch Shots AI makes creating pro-quality sports highlights fast, easy, and unforgettable. With cutting-edge AI, you can capture, reframe, and share your best moments in seconds, all optimized for social media. Say goodbye to hours of editing and hello to instant eye-catching highlights. Ready to elevate your game? Download the Clutch Shots AI app today and revolutionize your highlights with a 2-week free trial. Do that. Some housekeeping. The GASO Fast Break will be dropping Friday. That will be a gigantic issue. Lyndon will have you covered from 6A to 1A. Blue is going to do an SPC write-up on his everything that he watched this weekend. And then we're going to give you our picks for the UIL championships. And we are super excited about that. The GASO schedule has been out for a minute now. So if you haven't, make sure you know those dates. And when you go to a tryout, talk about the schedules to the event or to the program director and see if they're coming to GASO, because we are going to advocate for you. Couple other things. The GASO app, we have updated the entire 6A, 5A, Division 1, Division 2, where they're playing, what time they're playing, and the brackets are available. So make sure you're utilizing that and keep up with the entirety of the playoffs. That's a really cool thing that we give away to you guys so you can engage with us in the playoffs. Lastly, follow us because we're going to be pumping out content. We're going to be watching on different nights. This will be really good. We're trying to have you covered all week. Michael, you want to give a little next gen where we're at with that?
Yeah, a little update on the Next Gen Showcase, which is March 2nd, a Sunday. Probably by the end of this long GASOcast, we'll hit 150 signups. Now, there's a number that we will take, but I'm not going to let y'all know that. This thing's going to sell out. I'm super excited for it. We're starting to see prospects from all over the state of Texas at 28s, 29s, 27s. So the matchmaking and the roster build is going to be really fun just to see different teams go at it. And we're going to hop in like we do every week now from now until the GASO Next Gen Showcase, our Next Gen player preview. We're each going to pick one kid that signed up that we're excited to see in that setting. And I'll start with you, Mass.
Yeah, Alex Cheatham, Lovejoy. I saw him at the Kingdom of Champions or Knights of it's the Jesuit tournament. I forgot what it's called.
Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus. And Lovejoy, really, really talented group. They play a fun dribble drive style, and I see this guard come in the second quarter and really provide a spark. And lo and behold, it was Alex Cheatham. He made some plays for him. He really fits this, dribble drive nicely. I'm really excited to see him against some of the 27's best. So, Lyndon, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Campbell Liebengood from Longview, Mass. You and I saw this kid go crazy at TABC last summer.
8 a.m. heroes, baby. 8 a.m. heroes.
You bet. Saw him again this season on a stream, and he's somebody who's going to thrive in all the space that comes with that camp setting, and he can really fill it up from the outside.
Mike?
And for me, today, the number one player in the state of Texas for the class of 2027, Dawson Batee, has officially signed up. And there's two things that I want to mention on this. Dawson Batee, they just took a tough loss in the SPC, so he's going to be ready to compete. And also last year at this event, his team got kind of dealt with a little bit. It was him and Isaac Hayes, and they just kind of got they didn't have the best performances for their team and their scores. So he's going to be ready to rock. And when the number one player in the state of Texas is at the GASO Next Gen Showcase, where else should you be? There's only one place to be, and that's for media as well. The media application sign up is open check our social medias for that.
It's popping. It's not just open. It's popping right now.
It's popping. Whether you think you're a local recruit, a regional recruit, or a national recruit, there's going to be a media outlet there that caters to whatever you think you are. And there's going to be no hiding at the GASO Next Gen Showcase. So levels will be figured out. But super excited for it. Like I said, we're going to be surpassing 150 signups soon, and the talent pool is unbelievable. So excited for that.
All right, we did have championships this week. The SPC 4A and 3A. Come on with it, Mike. Come on. You like the clap? It's good. It's good.
The soundboard. I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like an audience applause. Mass talked about he has a soundboard ready to do some stuff.
Somebody didn't watch somebody didn't watch a cup of hoops because me and Blue were testing this out. We're live, baby. We are live. So let's talk SPC 4A and 3A championships. First, SPC 4A. Dallas Green Hill won SPC 4A. Their first round, they routed St. Stephen's. Second round, they defeated Dallas St. Mark's with an insane Jackson Thompson jumper. If you haven't seen it, go look it up on Twitter. It was a pretty sick game winner. And then in the championship, they took down defending champ Houston Episcopal, Jackson Thompson, Dylan Watt, the Catalysts, right?
Yeah. And Blue will have the full rundown on this because he was, evaluating the games, making his observations, and he'll have all kinds of stuff in the fast break this weekend. But you got to talk about, for me earlier in the season, I saw St. Mark's defeat Green Hill, and with Jackson Thompson, Dylan Watt, and how they just have continued to improve, continue to get better, especially as shot makers around the outside. And that's really what broke this game open for them, was their ability to shoot it and kind of make St. Mark's be a little bit uncomfortable. And then obviously you take down the defending champs, Houston Episcopal, in the championship game with those two guards, with Cam Smith around the rim and his rim protection. That was a big reason why they're the SPC 4A champs.
Yep. SPC 3A, and your champion is Austin St. Andrews. They took down Houston John Cooper. In the second round, they hang on to beat Irving Cistercian. And then in the championship, they beat a red-hot Dallas ESD team to defend their title. So that's two in a row. The main culprits being Coleman Elkins, Jaden Buchanan.
Yeah. Anytime Coleman Elkins is out there, and he's had a really good year and was able to cap it off with a championship, just being able to feed the ball into him inside, let him score. I think he had 20 points in the championship game. Buchanan had 13. I mean, they were able to spread it out, but it's really his post presence on the inside, letting guys kind of play off of him being a good passer who can also drop step and get a bucket in the interior. And that's the reason why they're lifting back-to-back state titles.
And just a reminder, Blue will have the full SBC coverage in the GASO Fast Break, so make sure you are subscribed to that. He got a lot of great evaluations. He's going to have all tournament teams and so on and so forth. Mike, UIL Road to State. This is one of our bigger episodes. I feel like this and TABC are really hinge point episodes for us. We put in a lot of time, a lot of research to really set the stage for the UIL playoffs. So let's just jump in here. We're going to talk about 4A first. And, we kind of created some roundtable discussions, and we're just all going to kind of talk on them. So who is a player in 4A that you see maybe creating a run for his team, like being the catalyst for them? Mike, who's that for you?
Yeah, for me, Sabian McGraw of Panther Creek. And now their road is not very easy, but with a Panther Creek that can score it with anybody, you got a kid like Sabian McGraw, one of the top unsigned seniors in the region, that has the perfect blend of putting pressure on you in transition, making the right reads. Like I said, they can all score, but he's able to get paint touches in transition, not overforce things, but in the half court, he can get it off the bounce. He can get it off the catch and shoot. Just a very complete player that I feel like he's one of those seniors, not going to be overwhelmed by the moment, regardless of who they're playing. And he's going to lead the charge early. That's a big thing in the playoffs. Like that first game, everybody's nervous. If you have somebody that can kind of lead and get the rest of the team feeling comfortable and like in the game, that's Sabian McGraw. So for me, Sabian McGraw, Panther Creek for sure.
Lennon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with MJ Bingham from Huffman. He's just so productive. He's had a great senior season. Game in and game out, he's putting up big numbers, and he's going to make them a really hard team to beat. They'll on paper, them and Stafford is one of the marquee matchups we're going to see out of this bracket in the third round, and I'll have that one all over my radar when that time comes next week.
Good call out. I'm going to go with Peyton Jones-Silsby. He's a playmaking guard who just has all the chops like that. He's just built for the playoffs. Sidekick and Billy Bolin. and a coach who's done it all. So I know Silsby's taken some lumps this year, but they've played a really brutal schedule. And, this is what you play for. You want to peak now, and that's going to be a recurring theme when I talk. But, the brightest stars shine brightest in the playoffs. So Peyton Jones, one of those. Let's hop into dark horse teams. Okay, who's a team that, you see kind of in 4A who could things break right and then they get on a roll and they're where no one expected them. Who are some of those teams, Lyndon?
I'm going for two teams from the same district here. Burke Burnett in Division I. They've got guard play crazy. Their depth and scoring from their backcourt is just crazy. They press you. They make the game up and down. They get you out of your comfort zone. I think they can make a run as a team who's kind of been in the mid 15 to 20 range in our rankings all season. And then their district mates, Crum actually won the district title. They'll go D2, and they'll be just about up there as the best threats against Canyon Randall to walk away with that small school 4A division crown or region crown in Region 1. Good
call out, Michael.
Yeah, when you're looking at Region 4, how about Comal Davenport? 28-5. Once you start creeping over 25 wins, you just know how to win. And their 5 losses, they've played teams like Steele, Springwood, San Marcos. So they played some competition to where they're not going to walk in any games and be like, I've never seen that before, because they played some high power offenses. So when you're looking at that region, 9-1 in district, playing some really, really good basketball right now. So keep an eye on Davenport.
Love it. What are some intriguing first-round matchups, Michael? I'm going to pitch this one back to you. And, we found out some news recently that could shake some things up in 4A, so why don't you expand a little bit?
Yeah. How about Decatur and Fort Worth Eastern Hills? Javen Colbert and Messiah Miller. What are we talking about? Electric factory. Yeah. Just absolute Celsius guys. The gym's going to be popping. And I'm too much of a coward to break this news, so I want to pass it to y'all. But
I don't know if it's breaking news.
To some people watching this,
okay. Alex Barther's back for Eastern Hills, and that's an X factor.
That changes a lot.
Yeah. So, and my gosh, that is what a first round game to tune into. Holy cow. There's going to be a lot of scoring, a lot of playmaking guards. And that is a really fun call out. Let's jump into make your case for region winners. So not Region 4. 4A, make your case for them. Dallas Carter. Go, Lyndon.
Yeah, watched them last week against Kimball. And they're young kids. They have so many 27s and one of the biggest 28s in the state who have had a great year, but they're getting closer. They're getting closer to becoming the full finished product. Marion Hunter can shoot it with anybody. Landon Higgs, Caden Eason, 2 guys who are really reliable for them all season. And then Terrell Jackson is really putting it together on the inside. They lost by 5, I think the final score was, against Kimball, but they have a real chance. If there's a round 3, which I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess that we will get a round 3 in the Division 1 for a Region 2 bracket, that's going to be must watch. It's going to be everybody in Dallas going to have an eye on that game.
Absolutely. Why don't you keep it rolling with Canyon Randall?
Yeah, and for Randall, Dallas Carter going Division 1 is probably the best news that they could have gotten at the end of the season, because that takes another contender out there. They're the top-ranked team that will go small school, and it's for a good reason. They've got a guy who's been there and done that in Tayson Combs. They've got Christian Smith, who's a really reliable scorer for them. Jackson Tugnoli's had a really good year. They've got guys all over the place, and they've been to state the last 2 years, and they're trying to make it third time's a charm.
I just have to hop in here with Kimball. I'm going to make their case. Nick Smith, the coach, state championship under his belt, 400 wins, and we'd be talking about them making their case regardless of the class, right? You got JDV, Caden Gray, JJ Hancock, Maury Wesley, David Coe, just a loaded group that's played everybody, anytime, anywhere. They just got that mindset about them, and they are the team to beat in 4A. Why don't you wrap it up with another team who has another strong case, hasn't lost a game this year, Stafford.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you can point to a lot of things, but an undefeated record at this point, playing in the kind of level that they're playing at, um, and 33-0, when you got a 6'10" center who can dominate the game, when you got a 6'5", 6'6" wing who can put anybody in the rim in Skylar Holt,
So
like
fun.
this
So fun.
this team is like, if we get this game, whether it's Carter or Kimball against Stafford in the championship down at the Alamo Dome. That's going to be one of the highlights of the weekend because that's going to be a must-see game in the definition of must-see.
Absolutely. 5A. Let's do it. It's good. You got to admit. All right, let's talk about a play.
People keep looking around wherever they're watching this at. What's that noise? And it's just mass on a soundboard.
Did I just get a text?
You want me to try another sound when we go to 6A?
Yeah,
okay, a player you like in this region to lead, make a run. Who is that guy for you, Michael?
Cash Gardner, Colleyville Heritage. They're going to be in 5A Division II. And just once again, this is more so unscoutable prospects. The one thing about him is his IQ's gone higher. And what I mean by that in his game is that he just knows where to be on the court to get open shots. And he's liable to, like we always talk about, that 3D Empire, 2 or 3 years ago when he had 11 threes against JO3 at a GASO.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like he's liable just to fill it up from anywhere. And before you know it, the opposing coaching staff's like, we need to figure out how to guard him. And he just opens up so much stuff for the rest of his teammates. So give me a guy like that can fill up from 3, from anywhere, transition, half court sets, whatever. I mean, that's a bad dude.
Yeah, 5A Region 1, Division 1. Alito's had a historic season. Lyndon, why don't you expand on who that player is that can help them lead that run and what they've done?
Yeah, and he is completely, like this season, we've seen him transcend. He's gone up multiple levels. That's Joaquin Pacheco. He can score. His ability to just kind of be slippery, getting past defenders, crafty around the rim, and he can knock down shots. He's had multiple games of 25 plus, having a ton of rebounds. And he's just somebody, like you alluded to, that historic season that they've got. He's been the catalyst for them to have all this success, especially in district where they're district champions and coming into the playoffs with a ton of momentum.
Yep. I'm going to jump in here with a dark horse team, Amarillo, Division 1. I think they're such an outlier because they play such a different brand of basketball. They'll slow you down. They're going to make you take good shots. They're going to try and out-tough you. And if you're playing at their tempo, guess who's comfortable there? They don't mind winning 29-28. They really don't. And they have, if they're making shots, just look out. They have one of the best shooters in the state in Zach Brown. And then they have a 2027 Jax Richards, who's really made an impact on you and I, Lyndon. So that's just a team that, like, I don't know if they're the favorite. Like last year, they were one of the favorites, and they showed why. They made it to the Alamo Dome. This year, it's an unfortunate, like, oh man, we got to go deal with that. And that's something. It's just different. You have to scout for them. You have to make adjustments for them. And then I want to jump into here. The theme here is intriguing first round matchups, and we would just kind of be remiss if we didn't point out what could be a second round matchup. And that's no disrespect to the teams that are playing, but Argyle and Mansfield Summit, it just feels wrong that these two teams could meet in the second round because I think they are the favorites in D2 Region 1. So I want to kind of expand on them a little bit. I saw Argyle 2 weeks ago, and man, were they impressive. Specifically Francis. He was probably 25, 10 or 11, and 5 assists. Dunking the ball, hitting a 3, hitting a mid-range jumper, had the game-winning assists. Like, this guy was amazing, and dealing with him and Cash Polk on the interior. And they just got a lot of, like, I was talking to Coach Perkins after the game, and he was like, we finally feel like we're coming together. We're finally everyone's healthy. We're practicing as a team. It's like he was alluding to, like, man, that just hasn't happened this season. So look out. 2-6-10 plus with some real talent, some really, really good coaching. And then they are going to have to play against Mansfield Summit, Lyndon, who has a resume of themselves.
Yeah, I mean they're as battle tested as it gets in this region, especially. And with Summit, they're just so tough. They can all defend. They can all score. Ian Seda, Caleb Richard. You know the names. They've been around a while. They can all get to it at the high level. And then in Theo Brandon, their point guard, they've got a guy who I trust as a closer. We all saw him in the game winner he hit against Timberview in district. I mean, they've got somebody who I think can get them over the line in a tough game. I mean, this is going to be a contrasting styles where you got Argyle and their size versus Summit and their kind of ball movement and ruggedness on the interior, especially. So it's going to be a fun matchup, and hopefully it comes to pass and we get to see it this Friday.
Yes. So we kind of just made their case of why they could win the region. Let's continue making cases for teams. Michael, El Paso Chapin.
El Paso Chapin, yeah, back-to-back regional finals. So they want to get there again and get past that. And a big reason of their success is 6'10" Vanderbilt commit Jaden Leverett. And what I love about this El Paso Chapin team is that they run sets and have post-entry to Jaden, which is very rare in this day and age in basketball. So the fact that they're throwing it in with a purpose and moving and cutting in, they're just so offensively sound. They get so much out of each possession. And Jaden's a game breaker on both ends of the court. So you have an interior guy at 6'10" that's going to guard the paint very well. Then you're going to have a lot of motion through him. He's an unselfish passer. They just get so much out of this team, and I think this is a chance where this year with him, the senior, they could get over that hump.
Lyndon?
I'm going to go with Birdville to make the case for, just because they have so many ways that they can beat you on offense. They can all shoot. They're going to have a game plan ready for whoever they see to take away their best option. And just with, Sawyer Dotson and his length and his shooting ability, Trent Bowers, Avery Webb. I mean, these guys, they've been around a while. They can all play at a high level. And I just think when you're a team that, shooting is what you do, ball movement is what you do, that makes it that much easier to win in the playoffs in some of these tighter games where everything's scouted and everything's game planned for.
Good call out. I'm going to wrap up here with Mansfield Timberview. They haven't lost a game this season by more than 8 points. They have a top-tier win versus Mansfield Summit. They're very balanced. They have a game breaker in John Williams. And they're just a team that, when you have 8 or 9 guys who can score 8 to 10 to 12 points, that's just really hard to scout for. Just kind of to your point about Birdville just a second ago, when that's what you do, when balance is what you do, it's hard to take everything away. And Timberview is a team that's just been kind of ho-humming and check-marking great resume wins all season long. So with that, let's move on to 5A Region 2.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. Michael, why don't you just kind of give the framework for 5A Region 2?
Yeah, when we were talking about a player you like in the region to lead and make a run in this segment, we just started going down the bracket, and literally there's just star power everywhere. Whether you want a top 1 player in the state of Texas, a top 5, a top 10, a top 20, top 30, there's dudes up and down this bracket, which is must see. I mean, this is probably, off camera when we were looking at this region, this is where the star power is. If we had to pick out of all the region classifications, there's just dudes there. Yep. You talk about that first round matchup between Melissa and Lufkin, Austin Gooseby versus Austin Brown. I mean, that just sets the tone right there. You have number 1 and number 2, Dakari Spear. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of these guys, but I just want to let you know, right now, if you're looking for, if somebody's blind and hey, I want to know more about this Texas high school landscape and who's who, you can go to 5A Region 2 and see everything you need to see fairly quickly.
Yeah, and to be honest, we had to cut down significantly on this portion of the show to keep this thing going. So we're going to kind of move quickly here. So a player you like in the region to lead and make a run. I could have chosen 20, but we're going to talk more about more teams later. I chose Caden Deffabaugh, Frisco Memorial. He's a player that I'm just going to be monitoring closely. I saw him. It was a first game back from injury or something when I saw him, so I didn't get a great eval. I want to see him again. He's one of the most talented players in the state, hands down. And when you have the most talented player or one of the most talented player in the state on your team, you always got a puncher's chance. This team's come alive with Xander Brzezinski, Dylan Steffi, Jackson Childress. They've got James Johnson. They got 9 names that I could rattle off here. Really, really good team. And they're, we had to put them in this section because there are so many other, it's just insane. So we're going to just keep rolling. Who's a dark horse team, Lyndon?
Yeah, and they shouldn't be dark horses, but kind of, circumstances went against them, and especially in the last half of district, and that's Dallas Highland Park. But Henry Beckett's back, and that's huge for them. You got the Cantrell brothers, Will Saunders, Colin Noble, Jacob Ario. I mean, they've got depth, they've got talent, they know how to win. They were in our top 10 before injuries kind of befell them, and they started tumbling. And the Colony ended up catching them for the district championship in 12-5A. But I mean, this team, like, don't forget about them. They know how to win. They're going to run their stuff to a T. And if they can make it out of that tough quadrant that we were going to talk about a little bit later, that they get in the first 2 rounds, they're going to be in a very good position to get out of this region.
Love it. I'm just going to roll through some of these intriguing first-round matchups, just rapid-fire style. If we stuck here, it would be way too long. So Lufkin Melissa's Division I matchup, HP Emerson Division I matchup, Red Oak versus Colleen Chaparral Division I, Prosper Walnut Grove versus Tyler, Frisco Memorial versus Lone Star, Hallsville versus Lovejoy, the Colony versus Frisco Liberty. It's just like everywhere you look. This is the first round, people. Like, this is why we're emphasizing this so much. It's unfortunate that 8 of those teams will have to go home. So it's just really fun. So let's make our case here for the region winners here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back. I for Dark Horse team, I did not put Lovejoy. Or I did put Lovejoy, but I didn't speak about them, and I want to talk about them. They should not be a Dark Horse team. They've won 15 straight games, and this lands them on the Dark Horse list. The reason I put them here is simply because they're not getting the respect or recognition that they deserve, I feel like, around the state. Like, nobody really talks about them. So this just sounds silly. They have Luke Moderson, Tate Zimkowitz, Parker Patel doesn't miss a shot. Aforementioned Alex Cheatham that I talked about is going to Next Gen. Like, this is a really fun team, a really well-coached team, a coach who's been to state. They run one of the best dribble drive offenses. They're going to be tough to stop. And their first-round matchup with David Bellerain is going to be so fun and intriguing tonight, where you have that guy, protecting the paint against this dribble drive offense. If Lovejoy's making shots, look out. If they're struggling to hit them, could there be an upset brewing? Maybe. But I like Lovejoy. I think they deserve a little bit more credit than they've gotten. 15 straight wins. So, yeah. Let's make our case for region winners. Mike?
Yeah, I'm sure the fan base down in Killeen Ellison's like over here patiently waiting for us to speak about just a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and start. Killeen Ellison in the Division II, JoJo MacGyver and Sean Parks. I mean, what an insane duo. Just you have a blend of poise, a blend of go and get it, a blend of clutch. How clutch was JoJo MacGyver last year in the playoff run? Feels like it was just last year. It's hitting game winners. You have Marnico Thomas, who just continues to get better and better. Is coming to his own. Just a matchup nightmare when you talk about the physicality, the size. And then inside, Elijah Bass gives them some legit interior size, which a lot of times when you look at these Killeen Ellison, that's where they kind of sometimes get bullied interiorly with size. But Elijah Bass gives them that. Guys, they haven't lost since Brennan in December. So you're talking about a team that, once you get to district and, Killeen is a smaller area to talk about, they do start to go under the radar a little bit. But, I mean, they just continue to do what they do, and I feel like their best basketball happens in February and March. So look out for Killeen Ellison.
Love that call. Lyndon?
Yeah, I'm going to hop in here, and I can do you one better with a team that hasn't lost since November 16th. That's 3 months ago yesterday, and that's Lufkin.
All right.
Undefeated in district, undefeated all the way through December, January, and up till February. The draw isn't friendly to them. They draw Melissa right off the bat. They get to play the winner of Emerson and Highland Park in Division I, but they don't care. They haven't lost in 3 months. They have their dudes, and Austin Brown's going to give them a chance against anybody in the state in 5A. This team has had it rolling for some time, and I think they're going to continue to win in the postseason.
Love it. I'm going to make my case for the Colony. I've been in a locker room with Coach Cleve Ryan. I was his assistant for 2 years, and he just gets it. Peak at the right time. He's okay with losses in December. He's okay with losses in November. He's doesn't love them, of course, but like he understands the big picture that you want to peak at the right time, and that's all that matters when you have a team that's as talented as they are. They have DK Spear, Xavier Green, Bryce Dixon, and a cast of other really nice players, Jordan Goodman, Thor Grissom, who can shoot the cover off. They have the pieces. If they take care of business, rebound, and, they came from behind. They caught HP to go claim that district title. So it's like This is the team that we dubbed as number one. They had some legitimate adversity that they had to face, more adversity than probably most teams, and they're peaking at the right time. That's a combination for a team that's tight and that's ready to go out and compete for each other and go compete for that state championship. Might I remind you, I think they were Lancaster's closest game last year in the regional final.
Yeah, 2 or 3
at Fort Knox at Garland Special Event Center that we can't ever enter, so we had to watch on live stream.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I being too
correct? No, you're
true. They lost by 2. I think 44-42 is a crazy game. But yeah, I mean the Colony can't look past them. Lyndon, why don't you wrap up 5A Region 2 with one more make a case for?
We can't go past without talking about these two because Frisco Heritage's dynamic duo of Bryson Howard and Cameron Lomax. They may be my personal favorite, 2-man show in the entire state because Lomax is showtime in every meaning of the word. He's able to get downhill and score. He can shoot it. He defends. He's a gamer. And then Bryson Howard's length, big playability, rebounding, shot blocking, and just being a weapon in the open court. They haven't lost a game in some time. And these guys, they're on the top half of the bracket, so they get a little bit easier of a draw than all the mess that's going on in the bottom half of the Division I bracket. So I think that could play into them making a deep playoff run. And the fact that they're going to have 2 of the best players on the court every single time they step out there is going to make a world of difference.
Love it. 5A Region 3. Who is a player you like in the region to lead a huge run? Michael?
Yeah, how about BJ Gill? And for that matter, BJ Gill and RJ Green, that backcourt, Alvin Iowa Colony. A lot of this process for the season, it's non-district, district, and now you're in playoffs. But you collect so much data playing in those non-districts, win or lose. Iowa Colony plays Brennan tough. Like Brennan had to make a run down in Houston when they played each other. So these guys like BJ Gill and RJ Green are battle tested, and they're just 2 game breakers that commit to both sides of the game, which I love as a point guard myself. But that can get it going from 3. So a team that's tough like Iowa Colony, that's another team that you spoke to like the Colony earlier on that like ranked high, take some losses and some lumps, but they just continue to learn more about themselves. And now it's time for playoffs. And I feel like they have enough going for them to where give me that backcourt in any game, and they're going to have a chance.
I'm going to go here, Chase Richardson, same district, Friendswood. We just lost to GASO Twitter, unfortunately, but we're going to keep it running here on the YouTube. So with that being said, I'm going to go Chase Richardson, absolute baller. And he had an injury midseason that kind of derailed Friendswood, but they kept it rolling. But if you've seen this guy, his ability. And I saw him play in a rivalry game where he was getting overrated chance and he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. In the fourth quarter, he had 12 points. And then in overtime, he had 6 points. And he just found a way. And there's just something about guys like that who just rise to the occasion when adversity is hitting the hardest. So I just wanted to throw Chase Richardson out there, Friendswood. That is a dangerous team. And 5A Region 3, there's a lot of rough matchups, and there's a lot of dark horses. So I'm going to pass it to you. Who's a dark horse team that you recognize here?
Do you want to turn it off and turn it right back on?
Yeah, absolutely.
We might as well. Can
Let's
you?
do that.
Yeah, let's just restart it.
Okay.
We'll be right back. I mean, there's just a few more people are watching on X anyways right now.
Cool.
So.
Right.